Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 3rd of July for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going back to the old format of a longer individual investigation of each sign's prospects, and I'm going to be focusing within that on the ruler of each sign to a much greater extent. Now, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, share, comment or subscribe. It's great to have you with us. This is very much community. Please do share any thoughts you have. If you're a returning visitor, thank you so much for joining me once more. If you like to get your free written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link beneath this video. And finally, if you would like to ascend above your zodiac forecast and embrace more serious astrology, please see the offer beneath this video, which gives you the chance to get 2 charts for 30% off, totally based on your unique birth data that will give you searing insights for the months and years ahead. So Aquarius, your week commencing the 3rd of July forecast does present somewhat of a challenge because the moon is in the most psychological part of your situation, the 12th house, but that can be where we feel quite vulnerable, and also where the people who are not very supportive of us don't necessarily reveal their hands. So it's the kind of, shadow side of our situations, whereas the Sun and Mercury are in an eminently practical part of your situation, very much to do with the physical plane. So balancing those two areas, if you're very caught up with reorganizing your situation, trying to get loose ends cleared up, you're working very hard and diligently, but you don't feel very fulfilled, what the moon's kind of saying to you is, look, it's not just what we do to achieve a practical goal. We actually have to get something out of it in terms of our emotional well-being. The good news is that Jupiter actually is very supportive to this full moon. And although your modern ruler Uranus continues to be in quite a trying angle with Mars in your sector of relating, I think in a way, even though that influence is declining from last week's exact square on the 26th, I still think it could make you a little bit feisty if you feel that someone's being unfair or, using exclusion. We can see all the different forms of exclusion that go on when someone turns their back to us. They pretend not to see us. We may even do these things ourselves occasionally, where we get cold or silent violence. So no one's actually saying anything, but we know that the energy is blocked. And I feel that you could become quite conscious of that stuff this week. And if you feel someone is playing the game in a way which is just ridiculously unfair, Mars's square with Uranus could see you speak out if you feel that that person is not being as decent as they could be. That said, Venus and Mars are still together in your 7th house, which can make you very alluring. So I think maybe around your work situation, it could be where you feel this sense that maybe there's a lack of appreciation of just how thoughtful and self-sacrificing you can be at times. It could even be in a relationship, particularly if you're very conscientious on the domestic plane and a partner tends to sort of take you for granted a bit. Well, Mars squaring up with Uranus could see you really venting, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. What I would say is Mars is in a quincunx with Neptune, so when it comes to someone you're drawn to in a new romantic context, just be aware that Neptune's a very shimmering but potentially distorting influence. If you really like someone at a more attraction level, what Neptune is saying is don't try to kid yourself about what they stand for. If you're drawn towards someone who just doesn't really have the same core values as you, even though it may be exciting in the short term, it may not actually give you what you really need in terms of nurture. Now, Mercury is actually forging 2 brilliant links this week, one with Uranus, so that's great if you're wanting to use that innovative side of your nature to sort out something by looking at it afresh. And it also forges a great link to Neptune, ironically. So Mars is the aggravating influence this week in a way, and the full moon itself can, bring those tender, not necessarily obvious energies up. Mars and Uranus could see you, if you get really exasperated, push back. But by the end of this week, Mars then prepares to dive deep into a very intense part of your situation, the 8th house, where it will be for 6 weeks, and that's actually quite sexual. So if there is someone who's really exciting you, it could go from just working each other out a little bit to really hot and heavy really quite quickly. Or Mars could see you becoming very determined to improve your financial lot in the next 6 weeks. So that's the more prosaic level, but it can also work obviously at the desire level. But the 8th house can also be about big transformations. So this is a week that I think is asking you to get your life more organized, but you need to feel emotionally engaged by whatever it is you're doing. That's the lesson of the full moon.